Ooh. Snare meditation. I knew there was something to snares beside making a snare sound. Broken Opportunity is a two-part series on snares, snare wires, how deeply they affect the tone, the sound, the feel of your snare drum. It's the most important component of the kit, and it's your signature, so we're not going to fool around with this stuff. This is serious. Another issue we're going to discuss is sympathetic snare buzz. Well, yeah, okay, so I put a question mark after eliminating snare buzz, but I got you here, didn't I? Snare buzz is generated from tom-toms, and every drummer I know complains about it to a certain extent. Some drummers are obsessed with it. If we could only eliminate it, but we can't, because when all these things are vibrating around the snare drum, as soon as this touches the head, boom, it's going to vibrate. But what would you think if I said to you, we could maximize the tone of your drum and at the same time minimize snare drum buzz? How would you feel about that? I know what you're doing right now. You're going, there is a God! Well, it's totally possible, and I'm going to prove it to you. I believe wire snares came about, in the 30s or so. If you look at vintage drums, they look something like this here. 12-strand snares. And, I think they really had it right back then because they were making great drums and less snares, more tone. That's the formula. More snares, more snare sound, less tone from the drum. So over the years, that evolved to 20-strand snares, which is currently our standard, right? As many as 50-strand snares, which is really like way overkill. So rule number one is less snares, more tone from your drum. Less snares, less sympathetic snare buzz. That's one of the primary ways to eliminate snare buzz. This portion of the snares is called a clip. This is where the snares are soldered to. And there are two types of clips. Curved, which has a slight curvature to it, curved clip. And over here is a step clip, has a severe, 90-degree angle step. Each one has, it affects the way the snares vibrate in different ways. And it's about options here. And I'm going to explain to you what that's all about later. Okay, I'd like to show you a couple of hold-down methods now. This mounts in the center. It's a half-inch polyester strap. You can buy this at fabric stores or craft centers, and you get a whole spool like you see behind my hand for like $3. Last you like 20 years. But they come in different textures. This one is a ribbed version, and this is the best I found so far because the ribs hold in the snare strainer like unbelievable. Okay, this is the cable or cord method. It gives you a little more control at the outside edges of the snares, but it's quite a bit thicker than the strap and lifts the back of the step up slightly off the head, which actually creates more snare buzz. I prefer the strap method. Alright, so, look, step clips, curve clips, straps, cables, it's all about experimentation. Much of this has to do with your snare drum and how the snare beds are contoured. One will work better than the other. No shortcuts, you just have to experiment with these. The most important aspect of snares is creating equal tension across all the snares. Snares wear out for two reasons. They fatigue after 500,000 hits, right? Or they're tensioned unevenly, putting excess pressure on one side or the other. Watch. Okay, here we go. See the bottom one loose, top one really tight. If it's done the other way, boom, top one's loose. The snare that's over tightened is the one that's going to break, and that's why we generally break snares at the outside rather than the inside of the snare array. Okay, so here's the result of that. Gail. So you're playing along and you hear like some rumbling going under the hood, twang, okay, you look in, oh no, my snare broke. Boom. We go down there and we go, we break it off by, back and forth, put it back up, and the snare drum sounds worse than before. Of course it will, because you have to have an equal number of snares to create equal tension on a, so essentially you got 19 strands on a 20 strand clip. So you have to cut the other side and make it an 18 set of strands on the clip, which will pull evenly. Now this creates a broken opportunity, right? Now you can use these snares for experimentation, because you can put your 18 strand snares up, see how they sound. Then you can put it back and put that chip off another 2. You got 16. So always in multiples of 2. 20 to 18 to 16, to 14 to 12, that kind of thing. So it provides you with tons of experimentation just from a broken set of snares. And you can figure out how many strands really work for you or not. So let's go over to Workbench now. I'm going to show you how to clip your snares. Okay, so your repair kit consists of 2 things, one optional. This little vise it's really good to use this because you can put your clip in here and you can stabilize it. You can also do it on a table if you'd like. But what you don't want to chintz out on are your wire cutters. Don't get a good pair. Don't get a cheap pair of these. This is you can, like Craftsman or something. This is a channel lock. This is very important. Okay, remember that the clips are curved. When you place it in the vise, you don't want to go beyond the curve. Otherwise, when you tighten it down like this, boom, all the snare wires will go haywire and you're done. Just toss them in the garbage. Yeah, that's it, baby. All right, so this is being held in place. Tighten it in. Now, getting close here, babe, and let's see. What you want to do is you want to grab the last rung off the clip, right there. Be certain that you don't catch the clip or the other snare wire. Again, boom, they're all gone. Okay? And here we go. Just give it a snip. Real boom. Bop. Now, you're going to have a little piece that sticks up here, and you want to rub your hand over the inside of it. If it catches your skin, then it's going to put a hole in your head. And the best thing to do is to go in here and very, very carefully, very good aim. This is like surgical stuff. Okay, right there. And squeeze it closed. Bap. Rub your finger over it, no problem. When you get done with it, do the opposite side. Here's what you end up with. This is a set of 20 strand snares. I cut down to 14, 3 off each side. So now let's say a wire does break more towards the middle of the snare array. It's a little trickier. This is where a vise really comes in handy, because you have to stabilize the clip to do this. So what you do is you grab, I already cut the broken one off, and you count in from the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, that was number 5 snares. So to equalize pressure, I have to clip off number 5 snare on the opposite side. 1, 2, 3, 4. You pull the snare up, and you clip it in the center, and you have 2 pieces, like this. Okay, now, pull it 90 degrees over to the top of the clip, over to the top of the clip, not the bottom. It's very important. Top of the clip. Okay, now you go in here like this. You grab it, and bam! Oh, I didn't want to use that. That's Emerald's thing. Now you have equalized pressure. What you end up with is a pattern that looks something like this. I got a little creative with this one. I took 2 off in each one to show you. So there's opportunities for experimentation here, and you might come up with something that really works for you. Okay, that's the end of part 1. Now go to part 2, and I'll show you how to put it all together at the kit.